subscribe to James the Sheriff Dixon, you motherfuckers.
This is Fun Times with the Sheriff, Season 3, Episode 7. I got Jay back on here. Say hello, Jay.
Hello, Sheriff. It's good to be back here for another episode. Always a good time and good fun when I'm in the company with the Sheriff.
Yeah, all right, so let's just jump right in. So, was there something you wanted to start off, or do you want me to go on first?
Oh, well, we're doing, all right. Mr. Matthew McConaughey, one of my favorites. He's an actor that no matter what his body of work is, just based upon his talent in itself, I go check out the movies that he's in. Big role, small role, really doesn't matter. Have a lot of respect for him because he seems to respect the craft.
Yep, and like we were talking about earlier, I was like, I figured no better person to do Matthew McConaughey movies than you. One of your catchphrases.
Yeah, coincidentally, that's just how they kind of panned out. I have a tendency to say that. I know in Magic Mike, he says that a lot. So, yeah, that's, great minds think alike.
Then, like you said earlier, you had a book you were reading about him?
Yeah, so his book, Green Lights, I started to read his autobiography, and then I'm at the point relatively in the beginning where he's talking about his family dynamic and his family structure. And his parents had like an on again, off again type of relationship. So, and that kind of put a strain on the family. His dad kind of was abusive towards his wife and his children at times. So, but nonetheless, I think he had a lot of respect for his dad. I know his dad has passed. His mom is still around, I believe. But yeah, it's been a good book. There was one portion of the book that kind of resembles the movie Mud that he was in which that in the movie Mud, it's about a boat that shows up in a tree. It's like a boat tree house, and these two kids kind of claim to it, but lo and behold, Matthew McConaughey also says, "Hey, that's mine." But years before that, Matthew was living in a part of Texas, and he made his own tree house. Like he stole lumber from a lumber yard, and he like would wait late at night, early in the morning, to steal different pieces of lumber, and he made this tree house. And he was trying to communicate with his dad that, hey, this is Mud before Mud actually happened, and it seems like that was kind of a bonding moment for them. At the time when he built this tree house, it was just him and his dad. Again, they kind of had a tumultuous relationship, his parents. So his mom was not staying with him, and his siblings had moved on. They were doing their own thing. So, but yeah, it was kind of like a thing that where he just built this precursor or prequel Mud treehouse, except for it was just a treehouse. It wasn't a boat, but just a flat out treehouse that he just kind of was like, hey, I just want to do this. And, yeah, that was, I think in his high school years, he made that happen.
Just imagine a few years after that, when he started acting, that person finding out that his wood was used for that treehouse.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if that treehouse was still around. I know he said once he moved, he never really went back to see if that treehouse was torn down or what have you. But yeah, it was a kind of a summer project, something for him to do before, in between grades in high school.
So what would have to be your favorite Matthew McConaughey movie?
Oh man, there's so many. There's so many. I don't know. I mean, he's one where again, it's no matter what he's in, I'd go check it out just based upon his talent within himself.
Yeah.
So he doesn't really have to have like, I don't know, a favorite. I mean, long story short, I mean, Lincoln Lawyer was good. Dallas Buyers Club. A Time to Kill, which was one of his first breakout roles. That was pretty good, where he plays a lawyer and he defends a black girl who was sexually abused by some racist white Southerners. So, but yeah, he's got the versatility. So, I mean, he had a smidge role in Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah. So, a small role in that. But, I mean, it's just a testament to his talent.
That small role, though, set up that whole movie, though, the Wolf of Wall Street.
Exactly. It really sprung Leonardo DiCaprio's character into action in regards to So, but yeah, I mean that was a great movie too. But yeah, Martin Scorsese and Leonardo DiCaprio and such. But yeah, that small role was very pivotal in the storytelling of Jordan Belfort's movie, his life story.
I think you already know my favorite one though is Contact with Jodie Foster.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Jodie Foster is another actress in which that she's just by her name and recognition by herself. I'd go check out some of her projects just based upon her sincerity to the craft and things of that nature. So Contact was a good one as well.
And then like I was telling you earlier, one of his other earlier ones was that movie Tiptoes with the Gary. I'm gonna have to look it up again, but
Oh, Gary Oldman.
yep, Gary Oldman. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So, and also too, he's also in seems to be in a projects with an ensemble cast. There's always more than one heavy hitter in the movies
Yep.
that he's involved in. So yeah, yep. Tiptoes was 2002. So didn't get a lot of publicity like the Jodie Foster movie, but good nonetheless. Good viewing nonetheless. So
I had to go slightly off, but I watched the very first Freaky Friday. I didn't know that was Jodie Foster in that 1970s one.
indeed, indeed. So yeah. Yes, indeed. Humble Beginnings, her first start. That I know she was in Taxi Driver with De Niro and such. So yeah. Speaking of first start, so Matthew McConaughey, one of his earlier TV roles is he was a reenactment actor for the TV show Unsolved Mysteries, and he played the real life gentleman of Larry Dickens, who was actually killed by I guess he was a serial killer, Mr. William Howard Bell. And unfortunately, the character literally gets killed in his driveway in front of his mom. But Matthew McConaughey played the actor who was, he was cast as Larry Dickens in the episode. So it's kind of one of his first starts of many. So,
And
but
then
he's got a body of work that, I mean, it goes back way until the early '90s. So, and here we are 30 years later and still talking about him. So he's
yeah,
got a variety of things that he's done. Like he's done Sing, the cartoon, the animated
yeah, the one
two
that just
movies.
the second one just came out, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So he plays Buster Moon. So yeah.
And then like I was telling you the other time, Tropic Thunder. You said you didn't know he was in that.
I didn't know that either. I totally forgot about that he was in Tropic Thunder. So I think Robert Downey Jr. kind of stole the show in terms of him playing a dude, that type of thing. So, but yeah, he was in that one. Free State of Jones was another one that didn't get a lot of publicity, but he played the real life character of Mr. Newton Knight, who was a white Southerner that didn't believe in slavery and
Mm-hmm.
owned a great amount of land and kind of hid slaves as they were trying to escape via the Underground Railroad. So that was a good movie as well. So
And then you said also the Dallas Buyers Club was also like another one that was like went under the radar too.
yeah, I got turned on to that relatively by a fellow student in the program that you used to attend, but I definitely was a good watch based upon a true story again. But yeah, that was a good one. I mean, just his ability to be dramatic. I don't want to sound cliche or corny, but his ability to be dramatic at like kind of the drop of a hat, to go from 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds.
Yeah.
He's great at that. Um, so I mean, I've always kind of admired that about him. Just his abilities, seems very charismatic. So not only that, within there's another movie that I'm trying to think of that he's kind of that's on display as well. But yeah, his ability to kind of again, it's kind of shift gears, at the drop of a hat is very, very noteworthy. So
And then like I can't not bring this up. Interstellar.
hmm
One of the I think personally after Contact, I think that's my second favorite of his.
yeah, definitely. So Interstellar is pretty good. I enjoyed that one as well. So you get no bones from me about that one. So that was pretty cool.
So you said that book. You said he was switching from acting and like stuff to like directing and producing now.
Yeah, so he's and there's a natural progression. I mean, he's got some director credits. He's done well in the early '90s. He's done some directing. There was a short called "The Rebel" and Chicano Chariots is something that he's done. But he's also a got into the producing game in terms of the TV show True Detective. That's where I was kind of think of where again we kind of get that emotional twist, that emotional range. His character on True Detective was pretty good, but he's also one of the executive producers on it. So, and recently, Hank the Cowdog is a podcast. Well, it's not a movie, but nonetheless, he's the EP behind it. So yeah, he it's again a natural progression for actors that don't just want to stay in that lane. They've done some directing and some producing and EP, executive producing, getting on in that side, the business side of it.
And I was just looking at it. He was in Dazed and Confused too. I was just scrolling through his stuff here.
Wow, I did not know that. Yeah, 1993. Wow, sure was. He sure was. So, but again, yeah, I enjoy this man's body of work. Just again, a testament to his talent. I'd go check it out, and he's one of those where what makes him unique as well is his ability to make the role his own. So that's Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, and speaking of which, for the last topic, Serenity, is that leads right into that movie. I don't think you said you haven't seen that one yet.
I have not. I know that came out in 2019, but I have not checked out Serenity.
That's one of his more out there ones. He plays a man that chases after a fish, and it turns out that he's like in the world of a video game.
Well, wow, I have to check that one out. I know the year before that he did White Boy Rick, which you and I kind of knew about, kind of growing up in the Michigan area and things like that. So he was White Boy Rick's father in that movie. So,
yeah.
But yeah, Serenity, I have to check that out. So, but he's able to put his own stamp on certain things, but at the same time keep the integrity of what the character is all about. But he's very distinctive in that, with his talents. So like, hey, only Matthew McConaughey can pull that off. He can only be the one that kind of beat on his chest and talk about snorting cocaine and hey, people love it. So. But that's just who he is. So not everyone can kind of do that thing. But yeah, it's just what an engaging guy he is. So, and also too, kind of a humanitarian. I know when there was some natural disaster, some bad weather down in Texas, he did a fundraising effort. This was a few years back for those who were suffered some trauma in their from the weather. Mm-hmm. So he threw like a benefit concert, and the proceeds were to go help out those who were affected by the. So, yeah, definitely seems like a nice guy.
Well, I think we're approaching that time. Is there any last words you want to throw out there before we end it?
Oh no, I mean he's one to watch. I mean I'm just looking forward to kind of catching up. I guess on I got some watching homework here to do, like with Serenity, and go ahead and rewatch Contact. But no, I'm thankful for being on another episode of Fun Times with the Sheriff. So I appreciate it.
Here, Contact. This is really good because this last Thanksgiving I threw it on for my family to watch with, and some people that haven't seen it yet, and they got engaged with it for like a Thanksgiving thing.
Oh, cool. Yes, I definitely will keep that in mind.
So, yeah, I guess with that, you have anything to say last words?
No, I just want to say thanks again, man, for having me on. I appreciate it. And yeah, I just looking forward to the next opportunity to come back on the show.
You're always welcome back on, Jay.
I just want to shout out an amazing channel, James the Sheriff Dixon. Oh, he's such a great guy, and he is super cool for coming to the show. I'm glad I got to meet him in person, and you should subscribe.